Hey, what's happening? Discoveries, me, the Guy01, and welcome to this week's versus episode on the Walkthrough channel. This week, it's Seth Rollins against Jinder Mahal. A weird matchup, but one that WWE has been teasing. We'll get into that later. But there were a couple birthdays to do. We had Tamina's birthday on January 10th. She turned 46, and then January 12th, we had Raquel Rodriguez's birthday. She turned 33, and I was initially going to do Raquel versus Tamina, but I don't know. It felt like this one just made more sense to do because there's actually a talking point with this one, which, like I said, we'll get into. And I love that they included the fans singing. There's just something so funny about his entrance. I don't know what it is. Alright, let's jump right into Raw. Raw began with Tommaso Ciampa beating Finn Balor. In doing so, Tommaso Ciampa gave DIY a shot at the Undisputed Tag Team titles, I believe at the Royal Rumble. If it's not the Royal Rumble, then it's just going to be next week on Raw. Ludwig Kaiser faced Kofi Kingston in a match that the main story was about Kaiser getting revenge for his partner Vinci, who is out of action for a little bit due to the injury he sustained last week. The match ended with a double countout, with Kaiser continuing to beat up on Kofi Kingston outside the ring, even after the double countout. Kaden Carter and Katana Chant beat Piper Niven and Chelsea Green to retain the women's tag team titles. The Miz beat JD McDonough. Ivar beat Otis in another just fun match between two super heavyweights just beating the crap out of each other. That's always fun. Hiya. Oh crap. Restart. Oh. Hiya. And then in the main event of the night, Cody Rhodes beat Shinsuke Nakamura in a street fight. It was a fun one. I mean, it was your standard street fight. Lots of weapons, lots of big moves. But it was still a fun match. So the reason I'm doing Seth Rollins versus Jinder is because earlier in the night, basically, I forget who came out first. It was either Jinder came out first or Seth came out first. And basically they got into it with Seth mocking Jinder Mahal, like mocking him for how The Rock stole his moment last week at day one, which led to Jinder Mahal attacking Seth and the two of them getting into a brawl. It felt like a kind of just weird segment, it was a weird, not a weird segment, but a weird pair-up. Like, why have Seth Rollins be the one to, you know, confront Jinder Mahal and have the two of them get into it? But if I'm not mistaken, Seth Rollins does not have a set opponent for the Royal Rumble. I mean, we know Roman does. He's got the Fatal 4-Way. But I don't think Seth has a set opponent yet. I mean, there's a couple people it could be. You know, Drew McIntyre comes to mind. But I don't know if he's actually... I think he's in the Rumble. I don't think he's actually challenging Seth for the title at the Rumble. So maybe this is them setting up Jinder Mahal versus Seth Rollins for the world title? I don't know. I mean, at least this one had some actual build, instead of when he just kind of randomly beat Randy Orton. Remember that? When you beat Randy Orton on free TV? With like no build. Half the people didn't even know who Jinder Mahal was. I mean, if that's what they're planning on doing, putting him in a title match, at least they're giving some kind of build. And heck, these two actually have some history with each other. They were the two finalists in the original NXT title tournament. Seth had to beat Jinder to become the first ever NXT champion. So they've actually got a very storied history that goes back a lot farther than I think people realize. Now, is Jinder going to win? I highly doubt it. I mean, there's a lot of money in Seth Rollins versus people like CM Punk, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, and Jinder Mahal just isn't going to compete with that. You're not even in the company anymore. You got fired. What are you doing here? Whoop. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Alright, try this again. Sling blade. Ow. Oh no, my knee. Not again. Ow. Ow. But I will say, Jinder has gotten a lot better on the mic. He's really showed that off, especially in this last promo. He's gotten much better. So they might actually be able to do a decent build if this is the plan, but I don't know. We'll have to see what they do. It just seems like a weird matchup and a weird time to do this matchup. I mean, you've got the Royal Rumble a couple weeks away, WrestleMania season. I mean, I feel like this is when you want to put all of your biggest top name main eventers, you know, in the title picture. And it just feels kind of weird for Jinder Mahal to be one of those people. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Anyway, moving on to SmackDown. First match saw Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo beat Cruz del Toro and Walking Wild. After Carlito accidentally distracted them when he came out to attack Santos Escobar. We'll see if that leads to some friction down the line. Bianca Belair beat Bayley after Bayley basically called out to her Damage Control teammates for help, which they basically point blank said, no, you're on your own. So it'll be interesting to see how Bayley reacts to this. Basically just Damage Control basically just turning it back and leaving Bayley to get beat up by Bianca. I mean, we've known for the past few weeks, if not months, that something like this was happening, or something like this was coming. But it's funny just how, I don't know, I guess explicit they're being with it. I don't know if that's the right term. But, I mean, you've basically got Damage Control basically like, yeah, we're not going to come out to help you. You're on your own. So, again, we'll see where they go with this. Ow. Now, the big story coming out of SmackDown, and probably the thing that is going to get a lot of attention in the coming days, is that Carmelo Hayes faced Austin Theory in a one-on-one match, which had to be stopped abruptly due to Austin Theory getting injured during the match during a suplex spot, which is now the second time in 2 weeks that a match has had to be stopped due to injury. Like I mentioned before, last week Giovanni Vinci got injured in a tag match on Raw, and now we've got Austin Theory getting injured in a singles match. So it was the same situation. Move went wrong. The ref noticed it right away and immediately called the match off. But it's just kind of weird because, you know, stuff like this happens all the time. You know, wrestlers getting injured during matches, but you don't see it that often in WWE. Don't get me wrong, it happens a lot in WWE, but there's usually a lot of space in between it. So for it to happen twice in a span of 2 weeks, that's kind of that's odd, and I think a lot of people are kind of taking notice of that. And more stuff's probably going to come out about it in the coming days. Like I said, this just happened last night, and people are already talking about it. So we'll see how severe the injury is to Theory, but it looked bad. I mean, if you haven't seen the spot, he basically landed full force on his head and neck with Hayes falling on top of him. So there's that's a lot of room for things to go wrong. And we're also like approaching the 3-year mark of Big E's basically career-ending injury, where he broke his neck. I mean, ugh. I mean, people always joke about, you know, wrestling's fake and how it's all basically just people pretend fighting, but I mean, I forget who said it, but you can't fake gravity. You can't script gravity. Anyway, in the main event, Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles faced off against Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso in a match set up by Nick Aldis to basically punish the Bloodline and basically show them that they're not the ones in control. He is. So he purposely set up this match against their favor. But it actually ended up being a bit more competitive since Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso took out Randy Orton before the match even started. So for the majority of the match, it was a standard 2-on-2 tag team match. But Orton eventually did come in and got the win for his team before Orton, Styles, and Knight continued to beat up on the Bloodline to close out the show. Okay, awkward standoff. Whoop. Kick. Oh, I thought he was gonna super kick him. Good night. Yeah. Well, that was short. Normally he poses a lot more. Alright, well, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I make videos all the time. Stay tuned for next week's Versus episode. And next week, where we continue our new walkthrough series, Lego Batman 3. I just released the first episode of that walkthrough right before this. Go check that one out. That's gonna be a fun series, I think. Gonna be a lot less stressful than Arkham Asylum, I think. Already, the first episode is shorter than I think any Arkham Asylum episode we've done. I don't know if that's going to be the case every week, because, I mean, the level that we were doing, the first level, you can get that done in, I think, like, less than 10 minutes. It took me about 20. Just because it takes me so long with certain games, because, especially like the Lego games, I don't know what it is. If I don't know how to beat it, it takes me a while. Like, longer than it should. So, we'll see how that goes for the rest of that series. Also, there's been some rumors going around about WWE 2K24. like I said, I've said this before, I think a few weeks ago. It's weird that we haven't heard anything about a new game yet. I mean, this game is now approaching 2 years old at this point, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it came out in late 2022, I believe. It was either, I can't remember when it came out. But it's weird that we haven't, heard anything. So, again, these are all just rumors, nothing's confirmed. I don't think WWE's have confirmed that they're making a 2K24. So, we'll see. I will say it is probably time for an update. I mean, a lot of these characters, or not characters, a lot of these wrestlers in this game, a good, I want to say 15-20% of them aren't even with the company anymore. And then, of course, there's a bunch of people who aren't in this game who are in the company again. Or there's people who look nothing like they do currently. Just because it's been so long since this game was released. And how quickly gimmicks, appearances change in wrestling. Alright, enough rambling from me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Guy01 and Seth Rollins signing out. Bye, guys.